welcome back to the channel. It's Natalie Walsh. I'm here with you today to give you a little bit of Christmas inspiration. It's not exactly Christmas in July, but that's what we're going to go with. So I have the Ornament die. It is so pretty with the little flourishy, not flourish, but the waves at the top. I think it's lovely. I've glued a couple of layers of that down. We've got the Home for Christmas, the Plaids collection. I'm just going to cut a little swirly bit. Now I'm going to use this and a blue just for some interest, just for a little bit of fun. My plaids are going to be a little bit wonky to each other, but I just think that will cause, just have some fun. This is a piece that I tried to do an envelope out of, but it was the wrong side, so we're going to use it anyway. That's why it looks like half an envelope. I'm going to glue this down with a little bit of glue, of course, because that makes sense. And we're just going to give that a little bit of press. This is a little bit of a scene card. I just decided I wanted another one sitting on top to make it a little bit stronger. The ornament die comes with these little houses and quite a few trees, like different shaped houses, different shapes, different sizes more so. I've punched out all the little windows. No one got hurt. And I'm going to add a little bit of some cardstock behind it just to fill out my windows, because I can't just leave them there because otherwise it would be blue. The little trees I'm using, the combination I'm using is G99, G94 and YG63. I'm just doing these little dashes because they're really tiny, but I just want them to add a little bit of texture. I'm not stressing, honestly, I'm not stressing too much, but it's going to provide a little bit of interest to it. My wood tree trunk, I'm just reading my notes here. I think it was E55, because I've got E57 and 55 that I'm going to use for something else, and I think I just grabbed that. And it's tiny, it doesn't really matter. You're going to see all the texture in the trees. It's not going to matter if you have the odd little tiny thing that's just not going to have the shadowing and the depth or anything like that. I'm going to lay these up just for a little bit of extra fun. And just placing. So it's, I don't know, I really like how this turns out. It's just a cute little scene. So with my houses, underneath the windows, I've got the E57. And the rest of it, and down the left hand side, the rest of it is just going to be the E55. Now, for the life of me, I can't get things to focus on my marker, so I've added them up in the top. And of course, you can jump over into the blog and have a look down there and see the colors that I've used. So I've layered a couple of those up as well, just so we've got, so it's not all flat, so it has this definition and just that depth in our little scene card. This is where I'm going to place them all down on my black. Save a little bit of time. I'm going to do this for all of them before I color it, because I finally decided to use my head, and we're going to glue all these down onto the black cardstock and just clean it up there, and then I'm going to color it rather than chasing it around. Sometimes you have these epiphanies after the fact, and you sort of go, why didn't you do that sooner? That is a brilliant idea. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put them all onto this black cardstock. So our windows are going to be dark. You could, of course, add another color through the windows, a little bit of an orange combination or a little bit of even yellow. That would be great just for a light on the inside, but our windows today are going to be a little bit dark, which is all good. This little die, of course, would be really, really cute for a little shaker. have all your little elements in there and just have your shaker mix going through. It's very, very fine. But what I tend to do, I don't know whether it's just me, but what I tend to do is on some thin piece of cardstock, so nothing too good, let's be honest. A little bit of cardstock, put some double-sided tape on the back of the cardstock and run that and die cut that through. So then you already have the sticky on it. Therefore, it reduces, the problem of trying to get all your glue and not have it all oozy. But that's another option. So that's what I do. I think it would be really, really cute as a shaker card. So I'm just going to put these down with a little bit of glue. And it's a little bit fiddly because they're so tiny, but it's so worth it. I love how this turned out. I am going to change my mind before this glue is completely set. I'm going to change my mind, which is not going to be too bad because I'm going to still hide because it gets left, a little bit of the black cardstock gets left behind on the blue gingham, but it's all going to be well with the world. Just positioning my little trees. This is where I'm going to pull it down. I just felt like they needed to be a little bit different. A little bit, not like a flat line, even though there would be a flat line, but I wanted to have it a little bit more fun. I decided to place my little Christmas tree behind him a little bit, just for a bit of depth to my image. And we're going to place him all down. That's the thing that I like about glue, is you have a little bit of wiggle room. My grass, the G99, G94, YG63 and YG03. We're going to put, I just felt I needed a little bit of, just a little bit more grounding, a little bit more depth to our little scene here. I just think it's a cute little scene that we've got going here. So we just needed a little bit. You're still going to be able to see the gingham pattern underneath it. And that's it. Now our background. So we've got weathered wood, storming skies, because I can't talk, and prized ribbon. And I do like my blues. I've clearly sped this up quite a fair bit just to try and get this all down as quickly as we can. So we're doing a little bit of an ombre sort of technique, but we're not going right down to white. But we're actually we're sticking it in reverse. So we've got our lightest color on the top, going down into our stormy sky, and then our prize ribbon. Now I am going to put water over the back of it, so I'm not terribly fussed about trying to make this really, really smooth. Like, it's possible and everything else, but we're working with small little thin little ink cubes. So we're just layering on the color here. I'm also trying to keep the center of it white, only because it wasn't really going to matter, because our little die cut ornament is going to be, check my phone. My little die cut ornament is going to sit right back in the middle, so I'm not too worried about that top there. I don't think I was too worried about the top there. Let's see what I do, because it was a little while ago. I have sort of coloured it in, but as I said, I'm not too stressed. It doesn't really matter. So we've just flicked a little bit of water over it. I let it sit there for probably, 20 seconds, if that, and then blotted it dry, blotted it off. I wanted a little bit more color in my sky, so we're just doing a very, very soft shade of our lightest color. And I'm actually tapping it off. You can see there, once I get some more color, tap it off, because I really don't want too much. I just want to give the sense of the feel of it. I tried to see whether it would work with a little bit of water. It did a tiny bit. It did a little bit, but nowhere near as much as I would have liked. So we're just going to leave that be. It's still got a little bit of definition in it. So there's our panel. So we've got the rectangle, the Australian size rectangles here. Now, of course, Paper Rose has the US size and the Australian size, because if I haven't already told you before, or no one else has told you before, Australia has, you can see by the card there, our cards are a little bit taller and a little bit narrower. So we use A4 cardstock. We do not use, oh gosh, what is it, 8.5 by 11? Can't quite remember. So make sure everything is dry. I'm going to have a little bit of fun. So I wanted the top of my bauble to have a little bit of interest in it. So we're going to tap off, use a little brush just to try and get into the very, very center. And it worked pretty darn good, honestly. Worked really, really good. So that is done. I haven't quite finished. The next stage is I decided I needed a little bit more gold. We needed a little bit more sparkle in our life, because, you know, what girl doesn't? So I'm cheating. I'm using I didn't actually have any gold cardstock, so we just use the embossing powder, go around the edges, and it works beautifully. You're never going to know. So it works well if you don't have any gold cardstock. Of course, glitter cardstock would be perfect, but I had none in my stash, so we're going to fake it until we make it. That is pretty much going to be my card. We've got our sentiment to do. So this is Crisp Christmas. Say that fast. And I'm just trying to go through and figure out what sentiment I'm using. Now, I did like the black, but honestly, we don't have too much black, so we're just going to use this Merry Christmas, this white with the black writing. Now, I am obviously making a little flag banner out of my sides, and that's going to be awesome. I'm still a little bit umming and ahhing. So by the time you put the banner on, you're not going to see too much of a border, and not a border, the land. I can see it. I'm looking at it, the grounding, but that doesn't matter. That's all good. So I'm just sort of cutting thin strips, because I'm going to need to put a little bit of foam tape on either end of my banner here, and a little bit of glue in the center. I'm just using Paper Rose clear liquid glue, and we're just going to make sure it's flat with our little tea ruler, and that's it. So to finish this all off, we've got the clear little crystals we're going to pop over our background just to give it those finishing touches. I am going to use a little bit of multi-matte medium it's my go-to to be a fine little glue for underneath crystal elements, because it dries clear. The background is probably going to react a tiny bit, but it's all good. It's going to look like I'm putting it on one of the water dots. That's it. So that is pretty much my card. I do hope you are well. I wish you, if you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell, and you'll get notified of whenever we upload a new video. So we just got to do our little, okay, there's a little die in the pack that has that will give you the little a cut line for a little piece of string, but I wanted to use it with a little bit of pen, a little bit of Stardust Stickles, and that's it. So I wish you well, and I will look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.